What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of That Great Podcast. Today, we have a super special guest. He is the owner of Wolfpack Boxing Club. He is one of my best friends, mentor, coach, absolute badass, and as you can see, fucking giant. So we're gonna jump into it. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk a little bit about his experiences as an athlete, as a business owner, how those go in, and I think it's gonna be a really good conversation. So, Jake, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
I just want to point out real quick, I'm only a giant from Miami.
Yeah, true.
I'm not that big in most of the rest of the country.
Right.
6'2" is pretty tall. It's not that tall.
Yeah, you're not a basketball player.
I'm not even basketball. I'm not even point guard tall.
Brother, let's jump right in. Tell us about how you got into athletics in general, maybe kicking off from the teens into what led you to fighting.
Well, I mean, football.
Yeah.
First and foremost, 7 years old, I think I started.
7.
Tackle football. Yeah. Played for a long time. Was a kind of a small kid growing up, but played every year. And by the end of the season, we were like, I don't know if I'm going to play next year. And sure enough, next year, I couldn't wait to sign up, And then made it through, all elementary, middle, high school. Played a little bit of basketball in high school. Couple years. Didn't play my senior year. Played college football. After that had kind of run its course, I was a really good blocker. They weren't throwing me the ball. There was no pro expectations after 2 years. So I kind of lost my love for the competition of football, not the game itself. I still respect it. I don't necessarily have to watch it to respect the guys as athletes and stuff, but I feel like I wanted to be in a great sort of precursor to doing martial arts as well. Makes you tough, makes you strong, makes you fast, makes you smart. Like football's a hard sport. So, but having to only rely on myself was attractive too. Just you in the ring. So, I
couldn't have a bad day with the teammates and shit. Like, it wasn't so reliant.
And the longer you train, the bigger kind of the team you're around. It definitely is a team sport. Fighting is a team sport to a certain degree, but it's only you in the ring.
Right.
So it's quite a bit different in that sense. And then I kind of walked away from football, had a lot of fun for a few months, realized I needed some sort of like athletic endeavor to occupy some time instead of partying hard. And walked in, accidentally met a guy at a movie store, old school. I think it was Hollywood Video. I was checking out UFC DVDs.
Hollywood Video, damn.
Like UFC, and like it was like throwback ones, like 6, 7, 8. I was checking out. I think I'd watched all the other ones a million times, I'm sure. And a guy named Miles Moffitt. I'm not sure where he lives or stays anymore, but I believe he was a black belt at the time in jiu-jitsu. Saw that I was looking at the UFC DVDs and was like, "Hey, if you like that stuff, I got a school down the street." And so he invited me, gave me a business card. I showed up maybe a month later, even. Like it wasn't like next day type shit. Like it was like I came across that card again and I was like, man, I should really go in. Yeah, I should go in and check it out. And I went in and there was actually a Muay Thai class going on. And I had done jiu-jitsu with some friends before leaving the last school, and I transferred to a new school, and so like just kind of like getting used to the area and stuff. And I walked in and there's a Muay Thai class going on, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, can I do that instead? And he's like, yeah, man, go ahead. Wound up not even being part of his jiu-jitsu program. He was his own coach running out of that gym, but he brought me into another guy's gym. There was a Muay Thai class going on. 4.5 months later, I had my first fight. So I fell in love. I didn't get a lot of opportunity to fight every year. I was working, going to school, that kind of stuff on top, so not just not opportunities, but also not in shape, not ready all the time, early. And then, started taking it a little bit more seriously. Finished college, moved under a boxing ring. Lived there for about nine months or so. Which it was easy. It was better than commuting to work.
Yeah, you were there.
It was in the DC area, so the commute was kind of bare minimum, like 1.5 hours each direction.
Right.
And I, so instead, I
made more sense.
Yeah, I moved under the boxing ring.
I don't think I've ever asked this. I'm assuming the owners were good with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
This wasn't
Tate and Nancy Marshall. Shout out.
I'll close up, guys.
Yeah, they liked it. Tate told me he felt like I felt like he had a guard dog there. He loved it.
That's awesome. So that kind of takes you through amateur and then professional. That kind of like, obviously you're spending your whole days at the gym, so you're getting way better.
So I was and 2 overall. When I started working that was at an LA Boxing. I had lost an MMA fight, lost a kickboxing fight, won a Muay Thai fight. So it was 1 and 2 overall. Got a job there, moved under the ring, started taking training quite a bit more seriously, and I guess it was about 7, 8, 9 months later, I won an amateur world title IKF tournament down in Florida, and I lived in DC at the time, so it's not far from here, but it was a plane ride down there and cutting weight, and I had one of my friends in the corner, and no coaches, no training partners, no pad holders or anything like that. It was just heavy bag work and skipping rope and
committed to the
shadow boxing. And it was just the same thing. 1, 2, 3 low kick. I didn't win with anything fancy. I don't think I threw not a Superman punch or a flying anything ever. I mean, not in that tournament for sure.
Right.
And that was for an amateur world title, so it was an IKF world tournament,
Right.
And they gave me some inspiration to be like, oh man, well I went from, I guess a 1 and 1 in Muay Thai and kickboxing to 4 and 1 in one day.
Right.
I was like, man, I'm a little better at this, and I gave myself credit for it. And my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, and she was kind of done working in corporate and wanted to get into fashion, and so she was sort of willing and ready to move as well to make a life change, or however you want to call it. And so we moved to San Diego, and she went to FITM, to Fashion Institute, and I finished up my amateur career with some coaches there. So
some great fights. And so when you went pro, that I know you so well, but for the audience, like your game, you're not afraid of a fight at all, and definitely not.
No, probably bad choice in retrospect.
yeah, but I mean, made you who you are. So
yeah.
When you did that first professional fight, there's some changes, right, in terms of what you can wear, and maybe even strikes as well. Like you're not wearing pads.
Well,
anymore.
I did a lot of my amateur fights on an Indian reservation in San Diego.
Okay, so not
at Pala Rec
sanctioned.
Center. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I had quite a few fights with no shin guards.
Okay.
Maybe just elbow pads in some of them. Yeah.
So it wasn't too much of a shift on that end of things, going from amateur to professional, like in terms of, let's say, exposure, bare bone versus pads, because you're already kind of used to it.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was. I guess I kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Not that I trained without shin guards on,
Sure.
but I always imagined I'd be fighting without them. So
yeah. So was there any shift for you that you ran into where it was like, oh, this is different? This is
everything's faster. Everybody's a professional. Everything's like it's a different speed, like it would be in any sport.
Sure.
High school to college football is a big difference. College to pro is another.
Right. So you were already used to even that kind of step up. It wasn't like a shock.
Because I had done it, a few times.
Interesting.
Because there was no real rule set,
right?
In the place we're at, so it's kind of like whatever you agreed to,
right?
You didn't have to wear shin guards. You didn't have to wear. There was no knee pads ever. And we could, if we were throwing elbows, you had to wear elbow pads. That was a given. But other than that, and it was like the soft shit. It was like real shin guards.
Yeah.
When you did wear them, it was like the little cloth ones. That aren't good enough for soccer.
Yeah. Oh my god. Basically
terrible.
Not there.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like a thick sock.
Yeah.
They're no good.
Oh, I know exactly. Yeah, the ones that fold even here, they're like kind of ninja-ish. Yeah, those suck. I hate those. Those are the worst. So going into the professional career, and you're going through that, talk a little bit about, I know just from talking with you, but how is that like balance and trying to make it as a pro fighter? Like,
oh, it's so selfish.
Yeah.
It's so selfish. Yeah. Luckily, I mean, you don't need a partner who's not going to be there 100% of the time. Who's going to give a shit if you're training, who's going to give a shit if you have to go to sleep, who's going to give a shit if you have to go running or hit the bag. It's not
going to work.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I've never experienced.
Or there will be it either won't work or there will be compromise.
Well, so it's not worth having.
Right.
Somebody who's that negative anyway, I guess. But sorry, I feel like I'm getting away.
No, you're good. In terms of like progressing through the circuit, like building up, let's say, like from the local scene professionally, and like kind of trying to make it, and talking a little bit about like I know there's one crazy story where you drove teens of miles to only the fight fall through. Like, talk about the struggles of just being a pro fighter.
It's different than it's way different than what you would sort of imagine. Like what you see on TV for the big fights and stuff looks way smaller when you're there. It's like real people making mistakes, doing things, setting things up. The story you're talking about, I drove 5 hours to a fight. My blood work didn't get emailed on time that I had done 2 weeks prior. I had to fight. I had to drive back to LA, like from Bakersfield area back to LA. Went to a clinic, got my blood work done, brought the results back to the. So I spent about 15 hours in the car, and just to fight. So they let me weigh in when I got there the first time, but then I had to drive down to get my blood work done, right? So I was like eating and stuff at least at that point, but I had 5 hours in the car on the way up there, starving.
Right.
We got to weigh in, went down, got my blood work done, came back, fight's on, everything's good, got everything in, cool, all right. I'm in bed, really not that late. We don't have to fight until the next night. So I go to bed, 11 o'clock, wake up, whole normal day, getting ready, feeling good. Fight card starts. There's a bunch of amateur fights before the pro fights. I don't know, 5 or 7 pro fights on the card, a bunch of amateur fights, 20 or so. And so the night starts and they're going through fight after fight after fight. And it's getting later and later and later. And so right around midnight, I'm going to go with like 11:58. We start walking out to the ring. Here we go. We're gonna have I had the best camp ever. I felt like
ready.
I was ready. I was doing well against, I was doing well. I was holding my own against everybody I struggled with. Felt like I crossed this like big, like mental bridge training, like I was ready, man. And then we get like walking out. I mean, I couldn't have been more than 25 or 30 feet away from the ring. And they're like, yeah, sorry, fight's off.
Was this the same? What? Was that the same one with the Y crew, or was that a different?
Yeah. Well, yes, exactly. No, same one.
Okay,
same one.
Give them the context.
Yeah, so not only was there 20-something fights before they started the pro card. So the problem is that they ran out of insurance at midnight.
Right. And
so they couldn't continue doing the pro card. They ran a bunch of fights up until the pro card started, and then on the fight before mine, it was a 5-round super duper heavyweight fight. Yeah. A guy did they played the the Y Crew song. How long is that?
I always thought
it's like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 12 minutes, no joke. They had to start it over. And he got about halfway through the next one before the Y Crew. I mean, he did it all. Yeah. There was the arrow and the gun.
Yeah, the Y Crew,
the makeup,
it's like a ceremonial dance that traditional Thai fighters and
Thai fighters do.
The whitewashing Americans have been adopting.
Yes,
fuckers.
Well, I'm not sure how authentic his Muay Thai background was, but it was all of them. It was
he went for it.
The whole crew.
Yeah.
Jesus. It was all of it. So then, and then his fight took all 5 rounds because nobody got knocked out. It was just, 5 rounds of super heavyweights swinging stuff at each other. And by the time I walked out,
no more time. So you had a full fight camp rather. You had a full fight camp. Just what you had to go through, not poor you, but what you went through leading up to the weigh-in,
just to fight.
Right. And as I had a couple amateur fights and nothing to that extreme, but like everything kind of weighs, especially you're cutting weight, like the little shit can start to bother you. So like you doing a trip like that. So you're going in like still game though, right? You're still ready to fight and you're like, let's go. And then for all of that, you get to no, it's off. And you're just kind of stuck.
Well,
with
that.
That's fucked.
And I think we both got Donald Robertson is his name. Nice guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. He was there to fight too.
Yeah,
he made weight.
Right,
he turned in his blood work.
Right.
Nothing.
It was totally out of your.
I think they
hands.
paid. Yeah, exactly. I think they paid us our show money, and I think they gave us. They might have even given us both the win money.
Yeah,
like the knockout money.
Okay.
It was still less than $3,000. It was like $2,500.
Yeah,
I pay about $30 a pad session, 5 pad sessions a week, $600 a month in pads alone.
Right. And then you start getting into
plus 6 days a week sometimes too.
It adds up. Yeah, no, I don't think you ever did this, but some professional fighters end up with like management companies who start taking splits. Are you a proponent?
My best friends were my managers.
Oh, okay.
Mike and Tony. They never took $1. They didn't do it for that at all. They didn't care. They didn't take any money. They didn't take. I don't think they took a single dollar. Wow. I don't think I even paid for a plane ticket for them.
Damn.
You know, they showed up.
Yeah, and supporting the cause. It was part of the mission.
And I don't know. I'm not sure how many guys they're still managing. I'm not sure how many guys, but they just love it.
Yeah.
And they have other real jobs that make them money, and they're in there for the fight.
Is it a very in that sense then? Is having a manager as a professional fighter kind of necessary? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know how much the split they charge.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know. I think, depending on how intelligent one is with their money, what kind of people they have around them, either a parental or spouse. I don't know that it's necessary for everybody. I wouldn't speak to that.
Because the main thing is getting bookings, right? Like, you want, as a professional fighter,
and those guys got me my pro debuts for Glory.
Yeah.
I fought for Lion Fight, WCK, which is a big organization on the West Coast. They've been the longest running American organization for Muay Thai. So they got me opportunities too.
You also won a WBC title, didn't you?
Yeah,
that's professional circuit, right? Yeah. So tell us about that fight.
It was, I mean, to be honest, I don't remember it, and it wasn't because I don't know why.
This episode's brought to you by CTE.
Well, and to be honest, I got rocked in the first round. So what I remember about it was coming back. And then, but it was the first time in a fight that I felt like I would entered what people call like a flow state, where I just wasn't I wasn't worried about anything he was gonna throw. I was just fucking ready for it all, And it's and so it's not unmemorable because I got rocked in the first round. I remember everything during those moments.
Yeah,
it's more like I was throwing whatever the fuck I wanted to.
It went to decision.
No, I knocked him out in the third. Yeah,
out of 5.
Yeah. Knocked him on the third. 3 straight rights in a row. Couldn't see me. Split his eye open when he threw an overhand with a left elbow.
Oh yeah.
And just circled left and kept bombing right hands. You just couldn't. I don't think you could see him.
God, I like it. I like it, man.
Once I cut his eye open and circled.
How'd that feel? And you have multiple knockouts in your career, but winning the title, how is that? Describe that emotion.
I think I'd always set my bar. I just wanted to go pro. When I started fighting, I just wanted to go pro. It was like I had to prove that I can be a professional athlete. So winning that title was higher than I'd even set my standards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I probably should have taken this, thought higher of myself,
I think so.
So it was a realization moment. And I guess even more in retrospect, it was like, oh dang, I'm better than I thought. But it's I never really set my standards to be a glory champ, or you know what I mean? It just didn't cross my mind.
Yeah,
it was more I want to be a pro. I want to be respected. I want to be a consummate professional. I show up. I make weight. I don't bitch. I don't whine. I just do my fucking job. Who are you gonna put in front of me? I'm down. Let's go.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. And that worked against me because then I had fought
some crazy
everybody in my weight class who was around at the time, and then after that it was who really wants to fight this fucking crazy person who doesn't
your weight class is from what I've heard is in terms as far as weight classes go, it's kind of the harder weight class. Is that
I don't know.
They say kind of that 170 to 190 range is just a
they all beat the regular person's ass anyway.
Of course.
So I don't know. Once you get closer to 200 pounds, there's
everyone's hitting hard.
Absolute knockout potential.
Yeah, always.
So even though with the 170 guys put most people out, 155 guys still got a good chance. But once you get the 185, 190,
it's all kill shots.
Yeah, bro. People can get knocked out with jabs.
Yeah.
It's not that's super likely, but it's the powers
they punch hard enough.
Possible, yeah.
So the professional career, you going through that. Did you also? I know you had a sparring partner and training sessions during that. Was that overlapped with the professional, or did you so you're doing that at the same time?
I mean I was basically a part of Anderson's camp on a day-to-day basis.
Anderson Silva.
Yeah, all day long, all week long, every day, every year. I could show up to his gym and work out, and there was guys there to train with. There was coaches there. So I've
what an experience.
An experience, man. I used to watch when I lived under that boxing ring. I was watching highlights of that guy.
Yeah. No, I love Anderson. So
who doesn't? He's a legend.
Not to go routing names, but just to put in perspective as well. So you trained with Anderson Silva and
so I was gonna say about my camps. So I got to make sure I always had practice I could go to. So not that it was necessarily for me, but there was boxing practice going on. There was Muay Thai practice going on, and I could be there to work out. And then I had access to his coaches.
Right.
Pedro Hizzo held pads for me for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, UFC heavyweight champion Pedro Hizzo.
In his own right. Okay.
Yeah, leg kick specialist Pedro Hizzo held pads for me for 6
There
weeks. You know, he was in. Again, not even to name drop, more like I was amazed, you know, at just the people I got to be around.
Right.
You know, and then I was at the same time I was at Black House, you know, a couple days a week and trained with Joe on Saturdays, and you know, so like
Joe's chilling.
Yeah. And then other camps as well. Mark Munoz was a good friend and sparring partner as well.
Right.
You know,
and just to distinguish it, because when we say train, you can say, you know, you train with them in terms of drills and stuff. Like you were getting to spar these professional high, for those who know, like, I mean, this is names of the names of the names of the names. So it's, I mean, like, how much were you taking from them, do you think? Like, not taking from them, but soaking in from that versus like a normal professional career, like most professional fighters.
Honest, I realized after a while, because, you know, it was like, you know, 2 or 3 days a week, 2 days a week sparring at Black House, like Fridays, and I think it was Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then like Anderson on Mondays and Joe on Saturdays. So I realized after a little while, it's like, which is fun. I'm gonna show up, yo. I'm gonna have a blast. You know, I don't care. You know, like I never cared so much about winning sparring as like just see,
being in there, like just getting to be in there, bro. Fucking fever dream. Like,
I forget where I was going with it, man.
Well, what you took away from that, like how much.
So what I realized honestly was that it was like, you know, it's like I've never really did a lot of jiu-jitsu, but I'd be like rolling with black belts all the time. You know, only like just lose. I realized for a while, I realized I wasn't really developing. I was surviving. You know,
I know the feeling.
But then when I went back to like sparring with my classes and drilling with my classes, and you know, the people, the guys who I was teaching and stuff like that. It helped me slow everything down again.
Right.
So going with them was great.
Right.
You know, but like I then had to put out like parameters, like, okay, 3 days a week.
Yeah.
You know? And Anderson, I gotta say, who I trained with obviously the most, was really good about you knew when it was going to be a hard session, and it was not all the time. Out of most of the Brazilians I trained with, he was about the only one that had that capability. But yeah, he knew, like, you know, Muay Thai practice wasn't always hard.
Right.
You know, like it was tough, maybe cardiovascularly, or you know, the amount of rounds we did.
Like,
yeah, but we weren't trying to knock each other out per se.
Right.
Joe it was different. He was getting ready for fights, and I was his Saturday spar. You know, so it was different. If we only got 2 rounds in because he beat the shit out of me, we only got 2 rounds in. You know. It was a joke for a while, like how many paper towels I need to clean up my nose. You know? and then it got to the point where my nose didn't get quite so bloody anymore.
No, man. I mean, Joe, he did a seminar with him. He came down and there was the Q&A, and I don't remember who asked, but someone asked and regarding the fight camp and sparring with you and all that, and he said, I always knew I was ready if like Jake felt easier. I don't know if I'm doing that. If
he could beat Jake.
If it was a good
run. He said, and I can always beat Jake.
yeah. That was really funny, man. Joe was super cool.
I saw him a couple months ago. He was down here working on a movie, I think.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Super cool guy, man.
He is.
So professional career obviously was fantastic. You got belts. You got to train with literally the who's who of fighting. So moving into you eventually landed. I don't know. And again, I don't know if you were still fighting professionally, but end up in California, and you're working.
No, I was
still during all of that, right? So now you're
I won the amateur title when we lived in DC. We moved to San Diego. I finished most of my amateur career. My wife, who I remember I mentioned, said was getting into fashion, so you got a job up in LA. So we moved up to LA, and then I was training there, and I went pro in LA. The vast majority, my whole pro career there.
Got it.
Right, and then when fights started falling through in 2017. I just couldn't afford to do it anymore.
Right.
It is a lot. And, the last one falling through was the 7th one that year.
Jesus.
I had
full camps.
Full camps.
I mean,
and not getting paid for all of them. But, I had a guy pull out the week before, another guy not show up to weigh-ins, another one 2 weeks before. It was like always something. I was just constantly trying to get on a card. And then the cancellation 30 feet from the ring happens, and I have a beautiful wife. I had 2 kids. And I was like, I can't like wait on Muay Thai. And at the time, there was no like one championship.
Yeah,
and maybe there was, but I don't know that Muay Thai they had made it that popular yet. Even like Glory you know, K1 had sort of fizzled out,
Right.
and Glory was in limbo,
Picking up kind of.
yeah. And then I don't know,
Not even yet,
they went
right?
up, and I feel like they're doing a little better now even than they were then, but I don't
Sure.
know. Lion Fight was on its way down, you know,
Yeah.
so like I don't know. It seemed like it was
Time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I started writing papers about owning a gym in Miami when I was a freshman in college. So it was like, all right, time. And my wife, for whatever reason, even before we met, she had always wanted to move to Miami as well. So we'd been in LA for about 8 years.
Yeah.
And we had 2 kids out there. Lily was like a month old. Lucas was 2, and we pieced out to West Kendall. West Kendall, you know, thinking it was Miami.
Yeah. now you're in Miami.
Well,
you're in Miami right now.
We picked it from across country.
Yeah.
Not too bad. And honestly, it was like living at a hotel. It was a really nice apartment complex and stuff. It was affordable.
Yes, that's right.
When we first got out here.
Man.
My kids learned how to swim in the pool as soon as we got here. You know, so it's okay. We didn't really mind it. And I only live 4 miles from there.
Down
now
there,
we only lived in 2 places, been in the crossings ever since. So.
Right. So before we get to Wolfpack, I wanted to touch on actually the sales element, and you've had plenty of jobs working in that, but I know you had particular success as a coach when you were working. Can we name drop them? The gym is good.
Yeah.
Okay, UFC gym. So you used to work at UFC gym. So you were working, and tell us a little bit about your sales approach. How were you getting clients? I know they're walking in a lot, but you still got to close them.
Yeah. I mean, I've been working on my own as a 1099 at a million other gyms before that.
Right.
I don't want to say not even not a million. Okay, let's say maybe 10-ish gyms before that. Different locations and stuff like that. So I had become very comfortable in front of people. I had to sell with cheesecakes door to door as a kid.
Yeah,
for football.
And I mean, after getting punched and kneed in the face, what's really so scary about talking to someone?
I think I always kind of thought people made sales way too difficult.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy what you're selling, you're not selling the right shit. You're not selling the right shit. I was just telling people how much it costs to work out with me. This is what I charge. This is what I'm capable of doing for you, and this is what I charge.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to pay it, that's fine. Fine. If you really have these goals, you should find somebody who fits your budget.
You've always been very good about this in general, but it's kind of like knowing your value.
Yeah,
and it's take it or leave it.
Yeah,
but,
I don't feel bad for what I charge.
Right.
I went through what I went through to charge what I charge.
Right.
And I feel good about it, honestly.
Yeah,
I charge a month what I used to charge an hour.
Right.
And it's not for one-on-one. I charge a month for classes and so on and so forth. What I used to charge for a one-on-one session for an hour.
Exactly.
So and then I feel like whoever's in front of me, I can just spill all the information I want to.
Yeah.
And I'm not training, just people who can afford me for $175 an hour. I'm training kids who want to fight.
Right.
And
that's kind of
people who want to try.
Yeah. So let's go into Wolfpack. So wearing it, repping. I've been a member since you
before
opened.
it was even a Wolfpack.
I mean, I drank the Kool-Aid, man.
Early.
When I first met you. I mean, truly. And I trained at other gyms and had other past coaches, and there's just something different about your approach. It was like, for the first time, I remember maybe we were at the UFC gym and you were like, just throw a jab. You put me in front of a mirror and you fixed my jab, actually, because the jab was shit. Fixed the jab, and you said, all right, next 30 minutes, just throw this. Maybe we finished up with a round or so of pads, and from that day forward, it's kind of filtering, because some people want that quick, showy shit and whatever, just want to feel good. No, that's not your style at all. And
I had a guy say to me last Saturday, we had fights at the gym.
Yes.
Both our guys won, by the way.
Bing bong.
a UD and a 3rd round knockout.
Beautiful.
And he said, the camp I was at before, the coach didn't even hold pads for us. I said, I don't hold pads. I don't hold pads for my guys. And he's like, you don't hold pads for your guys? Like, well, I mean, sometimes, but Brandon was like 7-1 before I held pads for him.
Right.
There's so much developmentally you can get out of doing partner drills, and
more than anything.
That you don't need pads to get you in shape per se. Sure. I'm not saying it doesn't become important.
Yeah.
They're just like doing shit in the mirror until you can do it perfectly is way more important than looking cool hitting the pads. Hey coach, let's get
hit combos.
Let's get an Instagram real quick, little snapshot real quick. Like, what?
Yeah, for the likes.
For who? Am I IG famous?
Yeah.
I don't even,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to waste time pretending I'm teaching you something. I'd rather you run in front of me, elbows in, chin down, hands up, knuckles first.
Right.
you know, doing it right. And so you can do that right. Like, I don't really give a shit
Right.
what your left hook looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's trash.
Literally, most of the times.
I've never met anybody who can throw a good one initially.
Yeah.
Not with no
by
training.
the standard of
like, yeah, no.
elbows not poking out. And,
Yeah.
So
even
you take
right
a really methodical approach again, which is what why I'm still here.
It's German in me, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten good at sort of like systematically training people,
right?
You know, and like, and
well,
I don't,
I
don't move on. And I mean, you know, my guys now who all compete, you know, good records and knockouts and stuff, and they've all lost 60 pounds. You know, they're all chubby kids growing up. None of them are former college football players.
Right.
You know, they were all 200 pounds, and now they fight at 140.
Because you also have the strength element of strength training programming that you have as part of that. So talk a little bit about that, how important that is for the development.
It's really like a staple for the guys. And again, it's only 2 days a week at first. It's a powerlifting is a weight class sport the way Muay Thai is a weight class sport. So you have to be strong per pound of body weight. Right. And so if you just work on getting stronger as opposed to getting more jacked or beefier or whatever, you know, which takes some bodybuilding. It takes quite a bit of bodybuilding. Sure. It's about 80% of it, honestly. But the other 20%, knowing how to max out, when to max out, you know, how to do speed work, you know, what percentages to use and that kind of stuff. Like, the information's out there. It's just nobody uses it.
Right.
And it's not complicated. It's simple math and percentages. You know, it's like multiplication and division at the hardest. You know, like, it's not algebra.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
I would be lost if it took all that.
It's crazy how much that program really makes a difference, though.
You've seen it. You've seen it work with everybody.
Yeah. And just speaking for myself, like, I'm not naturally athletic by any means.
You're pretty athletic.
I mean, when you,
Yeah, you're pretty athletic.
How much
you just didn't play sports growing up. You know?
Right. So, okay, semi, whatever you want to call it, but with the training, with the strength training in particular, I feel like that
you're way stronger per pound of body weight than most people.
Yeah, and that made me a better athlete in terms of even agility. Like, I feel like I'm faster sprinter. I'm a broader jumper. Yeah. You know, like cardio even. Like, I can bang out a mile and, you know, like in maybe 7 minutes.
Strength is muscular endurance. Right. Yeah. So if you have strong legs, they can run for longer. Right. It's not necessarily the right type of muscle fiber. Eventually, they'll start turning to slow twitch. But yeah, I mean, the stronger you are, the better machine you're going to be. So when you lifting weights for a football player doesn't look a whole lot different than lifting weights for a volleyball player or lifting weights for a fighter or lifting weight. You know, like lifting weights is lifting weights: squat, bench, deadlift, rows, good mornings. You know, we do reverse hypers and belt squats. I love those. You know, but.
I'm starting to see the reverse hyper machines like make their way into not like the commercial.
Thanks for catching up, guys.
Yeah, it's catching. It's catching. Yo, those things
nobody
are
doing
truth.
it right, but
those things are the truth, though, man.
Yeah,
bulletproof your back.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
it's
for real.
You don't need a whole lot of machines, but we got the 4-ish you need in a gym.
Yeah.
Something you can do 45-degree back raises and glute ham raises on. Something you could do a reverse hypers. Belt squat and a hamstring curl.
Yeah.
You know, other than those, I don't know like how much else is necessary, especially for a fighter. Not like
different.
If you want to be if you want to be a bodybuilder,
you're gonna need
probably gonna need some more shit. I don't know anything about bodybuilding.
Right.
I just know that sometimes the guys have to put on muscle mass and they do a little more volume and a little heavier weights as they go.
Yeah.
And most of the time they just need to get strong for their body weight. So you teach them form until they can 1 rep max, until they're in shape enough to 1 rep max.
Right. And then it's just like they're doing a bunch of volume from there.
Yeah. I mean, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. And everything after we max out or we do speed work, everything after that is more or less bodybuilding stuff for weak areas.
Right.
For your delts, triceps, ass, hamstrings, places where people lack muscle.
Right.
It's really easy to let your knees go forward on a squat. It's hard to sit back. Right, but 2/3 of the equation, your ass and hamstrings are the back half of you. So if you're not sitting backwards, you're kind of missing out.
Yeah. So if you're, if you're gonna say someone that wants to get into it, I'm obviously anyone that ever asked me, I'm like, you got to go to Wolfpack, you got to get your start. But beyond that, right, picking the right gym and landing there, like what would you say are like some, let's say, starter tips for someone that has aspirations starting from the zero, right, an amateur possibly, but aspirations to go pro and make that something they pursue? What are some things you always instill?
One of the hardest things to sort of I guess to teach at first is that you can't do anything fast. You don't know how to do it right.
Yeah.
You only know how to do it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so like you have to do it slow enough that you can comprehend how to do it correctly. So everybody thinks that they're gonna do. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna jab today, but it still looks like the same shitty jab and nothing changed.
Right.
And then they go home and shadow box, and it's like, well, you
You're
don't know how
actually
to, but you
regressing.
don't know how to fucking
Yeah,
fight
you're
yet.
building
What do you mean
bad
you're
habits.
shadow boxing?
Yeah.
You know, go home and do those boring ass footwork drills I showed you.
Right.
Right. Don't lean forward. Keep your head in the middle of your feet. Stay on your toes. You know, there's a lot of little shit to get good at first. And then you work on mechanics of punching, you know, step with a jab, pivot on a cross. You know, then all those mechanics start to translate to everything else. But if you move past that, like you're gonna leave holes in your game.
Right.
And you might win a couple fights.
Yeah.
You know, I know there's lots of pro fighters who aren't super duper technical, but I'll take a technique guy over that.
Yeah. And let me ask you, so, and this is something we've talked about many times pertaining to me. Do you think that I don't know what you call it, but you have like a champ mentality, right? Like you distinct, I know you, and you distinctly have, there's a unique mentality that you, among other great athletes and greats in every kind of industry right? That's kind of innate, right? So is that something do you think is nurtured or born with or can be built, especially for fighting? Because fighting, there's always that way out, right?
Yeah,
so can you train that out, do you think? Or is a champion in fighting, let's say, is that kind of born?
Champion in fighting born. Man, you know, I want to give everybody out there a hope and a chance, but yeah.
A little bit, right? Because when the cards are down.
I've told you the story about my daughter who's,
Yes.
Damn near a world-class ballerina at 8 years old already.
Shit.
And, all I had to do was explain to her that, the more you practice, the better you get. And she was like, that's all I have to do is practice more than everyone else? All right, well.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. It's easy. So you
didn't teach her that.
I didn't teach her that.
Yeah.
I'll go through the whole story. So she was 3 years old. She was taking 3 hours of class a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. She was doing an hour class. She would practice on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, right? And so after a year or so of dancing, 6 months or so, she says, "Papa, how come I'm getting better so much faster than the other girls? They're like, they're struggling or it's hard for them." I remember her exact words. And I was like, well, they practice 3 times a week for an hour. And so they're doing pretty good, I was like, you practice Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday because you want to be better at it. Yeah. And she's like, okay, what if I practice twice as much? I was like, well, baby, you already are. They're practicing 3 hours a week. You're practicing 6 or 7. And she goes, no. What if I practice twice as much? Like, I don't care what they're doing. What if I practice twice as much as I do now? And I said, well, you're going to get really good really fast. And she was like, okay, and walked away. That simple, And then she did it, 5 years later.
Because as opposed to that,
at Miami City Ballet.
Not a knock on them, but you have and across athletes as well. Like there's, especially at that age, like you have to talk them into going, right? Like there's that where it's probably won't be aspiring to be great there. Like Muffin's gonna end up.
I'm not sure that like a kid not wanting to go to practice a single time or something indicator, like that. Yeah. Or they don't want to leave a birthday party to go to practice. I don't know that that's a huge indicator. But if they do and if they have to go to those practices, what is their attitude like when they get there?
Right.
Are they still in a shit mood or did they say, I don't want to go? And you're like, well, sorry, this is a important practice. You have to go. And they say, okay.
And they go. Yeah.
And they go.
Yeah. It's going when you don't want to go.
Yeah. So I don't know that like, complaining about going every once in a while is such a big deal.
Yeah, it's more about going anyway.
And I say this to the guys at the gym all the time. Like motivation is fleeting anyway.
Right.
You're not always gonna want to go to practice. Like who gives a shit?
Right. You have to go.
Yeah.
Go.
Who cares? Like you also like you want to be a pro fighter.
Yeah.
You want to be a football, basketball player. Like
right.
So don't you think you should go to practice?
Yeah.
So motivation is for what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's fleeting. I like that. It can be.
You don't have to be motivated. You got to show the fuck up anyway.
Just go. Yeah. You can hate it. You can love it. You just got to go.
Try hard when you're there.
Right.
And you'll get better results.
Jake, man, time flies here. I feel like we do this every day almost. So you can, whenever, the door's always open, but I want to open it to you. You got a lot going on with Wolfpack. So the floor is your camera. This camera here, just let them know and do a little plug for the gym, man. blow this thing up?
Oh man, after 8 years of being in Miami and bringing up quite a few of the best fighters in the area, we're happy to have anybody who wants to come try our system and the way we do things. I would say we're a hard-nosed but welcoming gym, very Thai style sparring and lots of sort of like intellectual fight talk that goes on, and then at the same time, bunch of dumb fun stuff. Yeah, we do different events and stuff too, Halloween parties and things like that are a lot of fun. You don't have to spar, you don't have to fight, but everybody should learn how. And if you got to work out until you know, for the rest of your life, you might as well learn how to fight. It's a lot more fun than standing on a treadmill. So
that's right. Jake, thank you so much for coming in, man.
My pleasure, bro.
Guys,
thank you.
Please visit the gym. You might catch me there, and maybe we have a couple rounds. We'll see.
Yeah.
Jake,
My man.
Thank you, my brother. See ya.